Hey there, AI buds. Welcome to AI Insights. I'm your host, Fleur Prince, your favorite LinkedIn top social media voice, a vivid AI reader. And boy, do I have a treat for you today because I'm having my very first guest here on the show. Joining me today is Grain Poppin, a Gen Z law student at University College in Dublin, specializing in cybercrime and working in AI. Her academic journey is driven by a profound interest in exploring the complex interplay between law, technology, and social justice. Together, we'll be diving into two fascinating topics: AI's role in global crisis communication and bridging the global AI divide. So, whether you're a tech enthusiast, a legal professional, or simply curious about how AI is shaping our world, we're going to align to you in this discussion. So let's get started. So, Grain, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
So it's so awesome to have another person from Gen Z here on the podcast because I think like our generation is not that much represented right now in the AI world. So it's pretty cool to have someone else join me and to talk about all things AI.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it'll definitely affect our generation the most. Especially with I've discussed this a lot in the context of education, how AI is kind of like being seamlessly integrated into education and how, for example, like little kids, if they're trying to learn about something or they need to know something, for example, like why is the sky blue? They're not going to Google that, but rather they're going to go to like an AI tool and then ask the AI tool, why is the sky blue? So yeah, it's really important to discuss these things and like how, you know, they're structured.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I see that a lot now also upcoming, like parents who are concerned about, okay, like this world of AI is moving very quickly. Do I need to like put my kid into a coding class or something else? And I'm like, not per se. I mean, it's good to learn coding. I definitely think it will be like a valuable asset. But I would really dive into, okay, what AI tools can enhance my skill set that I already have.
Another thing is that, technology is like developing so rapidly. I don't think that coding is necessarily going to be as relevant in the future. For example, I'm making a website right now, and I'm using literally entirely AI tools. I have absolutely no coding knowledge. And this is actually a newer tool. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. It's called like Vercel or VO. And it's something that developers are using. Basically, you don't have to code to make a website anymore. And it's all like the GitHub's integrations are seamless. It's really cool tech.
I haven't heard of it before. I mean, I have heard of like Cursor.ai. That's also like this new coding tool that can help you code indeed, just by saying what you want and then it will like create it for you.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of does make me think like my year of learning how to code in Python is like, why did I learn it? I mean,
I know.
I would
And
say it's like good to understand like how it's built, but I do see a future indeed where like prompting what you want and then have it created for you is gonna be the future at the same time.
yeah, and especially because I'm in a university environment right now. I have a lot of friends that studied computer science and they're really struggling to find jobs because, there's been a huge influx in people studying computer science. But I think the kind of demand for coders is on the decline. And I think it'll be more on the decline as these technologies become even more prominent. But you never know. You really never know, especially because a lot of companies, at least in the EU, are more slow to integrate or resistant to change. I'm not sure how I'd phrase that.
Yeah, I would say not per se like resistant to change, but more like, okay, how do we implement this into our business? Because that's usually the huge question because you've like invested so much in your engineers and then suddenly AI swoops in. I would say. But also when it comes to the job market, I would not say there's like a job decline. I would say there's like an demand increase for engineers that understand these AI tools that can help them code even quicker.
Yeah, I think that so we were discussing like earlier off when before the recording started how like my job title as like AI market lead.
Yeah,
Um
exactly.
yeah, like how it's like even it's an information economy. So even just having like a pretty acute understanding of like what the latest developments are, what tools are out there, how to use them, that is a skill in and of itself.
Yeah,
It
no, I
really and it really is because just having like an awareness of like what tools are out there, how to use them, and like how to integrate them with like pre-existing platforms such as GitHub or GitHub, sorry. Oops. No
no
clue
worries.
how to pronounce that one. Um I mean I was able to build my own website.
Yeah, like how easy is it? Uh,
It's it's really easy. Like I'll send it to you after this, or maybe we can attach it in like the description of this podcast when it's published. But it's called Vercel, and
ahead.
yeah, simple. You just upload it and then it's done. And I almost did like a class on Python, and I was trying to learn HTML for a while, which is literally like the most basic one, and I never even like really fully got a coherent understanding of that. But now I'm kind of like, thank God I didn't like spare my time to that.
Yeah. Uh, Well, I mean, like I said, it's always good to know like how it works on the background. That's that's the point I am going to stand by.
Yeah, real. It is
Uh, but yeah, but also like I see like these consultancy business also pop up when I ask them like, okay, what do you guys do? Like, what kind of AI models do you build? And they're like, we don't. Like, we give advice to people how to use AI tools, and that's it. And I'm like, you can make money with that?
That's fascinating. Actually, my cousin is building a business right now.
Sure.
So when we were in Miami, I was talking to him about like how compliance is such a big theme right now in the tech industry, like compliance to the EU AI Act, etc.
Then
This kind of ties back to what I was saying about how like information is wealth, like and with regards to like knowing what is out there and how to use it, but also with regards to like compliance, like if you know about like if you have like a pretty strong understanding of like risks or like whether that be legal, whether that be technical, you can market that to companies.
yeah, because everybody's literally just looking in the dark right now.
I know, looking in the dark. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think
And that's
so. Another thing that you talked about, like at the company you're currently working at, like you were also talking to me about, like you were the first person who was leading a knowledge session.
oh yeah. So I worked for a law firm and I was leading a knowledge session on it's basically AI acquisition. The official title was an AI like AI arms race, and I was trying to give a perspective, a globalized perspective on like how AI kind of changes industries. So I was discussing, like, let's look at Africa. Are they using AI there? Let's look at America. Let's look at different cities in America. Are they using AI there? What is it doing? Is it helping? Is it like hurting in any way? What are the problems with it? What are the risks? Yeah. And then I was giving this presentation to people that also were like specialized in tech, but my perspective was still valuable just because like it's such a recent and nascent like type of like industry and like kind of like I don't know like niche that any information is important information, especially like with regards to understanding what people around the world are doing with it. And it makes a very big difference, like for especially in law, because AI is kind of used to optimize like legal practices. It can really improve efficiency. If you're talking about like if you're talking about an industry where you're kind of like it's billable hours, it transforms a lot.
Yeah, true. No, but yeah, I think it's still so cool that you got to like lead that session because you're I want to say 20 years old.
I am 20. I'm
20,
20.
yeah.
You want to know something crazy? I turn 21 next year.
Wait, what?
I turn 21 next year. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
but that's
young.
what it that's why I think it's also that's the reason why also with this podcast why I want to highlight that why it's important to bring Gen Z into the conversation because we're like on top of this right now because this is going to change like the next 40 years that we are obligated to work so we can have a
Yeah.
pension.
Another thing, and I think about this all the time, is that I am so grateful to be what I see as like the last generation to be able to grow up without like phones or like a digital environment. Like I grew up
Yeah.
in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. That's where most of my childhood was. And like all my time was like spent in the woods or reading. And I had no exposure to any type of like computer or anything. I think I was like 10 when like I saw a computer and like I used it for the first time and I googled dogs and I looked at like the photos of dogs that came up and I was like, "Whoa, this is like insane techno. How did they come up with this?" And it's crazy saying that now at 20 years old. I mean, like I'm talking into my computer. I mean, the second I stop talking into my computer, I'm going to pick up my phone, start talking into that once we're done with the podcast. I mean, I'm going to go home and I'm gonna pay for like my bus fare like with my phone. Like my life revolves around technology. And I think I am possibly like one of the last generations where my childhood did not have to involve technology at all. And I kind of have a mind that was sheltered from that. My development was sheltered from that. And I'm so grateful for
Yeah.
that fact. And I think we need to be so incredibly cognizant of how it affects younger generations. And additionally, not only did I get that positive, I also got the positive of where like I can. So when I was in, maybe I'm rambling now, but when I was in like
Yeah,
fourth
no, no
grade,
worries.
when I was in fourth grade, I had a typing class because
Mhm.
they were, it was like seen as like essential to getting a job to be able to type fast. There's no such thing as typing classes anymore because take any person, you know how to type with your eyes closed. You know exactly what a keyboard looks like because you use it every single day. That was not true of the world for when I was in fourth grade. You know, that's not something that needs to be taught anymore. That's now innate.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
I forgot those that those existed. I hated
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. You would sit in a classroom for like the 45-minute period or whatnot, and you would just type. Isn't that ridiculous? That's the same as breathing to me. Like typing comes as naturally to me as breathing one. I'm not even joking when I say that. But
no,
I
also
had the,
like I want to say also like on your phone, like currently when you like typing, there's not even like keyboard things to touch. You're
yeah,
blinding type on the screen and
yeah,
you know like where to type.
exactly. Exactly. But I had the privilege of a childhood where typing was something that I had to be taught. And nobody that was born after me, I think, will get that same luxury. And simultaneously, I like my teenage years, technology was enough of a fact around me that, you know, I grew up knowing what an IP address was. I grew up knowing like a bunch of basic facts that I think I would take for granted otherwise. I think also that older generations, because they weren't raised in that same sort of environment, because not only were a lot of older generations, they didn't even have typing classes because that wasn't necessary at the time that they were educated. It's just technology accelerates so fast that people are raised in distinctly different, such distinctly different like phases.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's really important to try and like represent younger voices because they have such like a different experience of technology.
Yeah, but also like how I think it's also now because you also see like our generation is now becoming parents. Like you
That's
see,
true.
yeah, but you also seem like struggle like when do I give my kid their first phone? When do I start giving them an iPad or putting them in front of a screen because they have to learn stuff?
Yeah,
Or
and a lot of education is with like tablets. Like I could not I'm in law, it's my final year of law. I
listen,
could not do this without a computer. Like flat out, it just wouldn't be possible.
no, no, I had the same thing when when I was in college. Oh, so long ago.
Yeah. Another thing is
uh,
that another thing that I'm grateful for is that AI was not introduced, but when AI was kind of became like popular and like commercial and like
mhm.
commercially marketable, that was my third year of college. So I had 2 years of college completely AI free, and I think that really benefited my brain. Like I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I didn't have any tools to help me, that I had that experience. But now that I have it, there's no going back. Like I use AI to assist me in like my education in different ways. Like, for example, like I'll have it like ask questions about my writing, or I'll ask it questions about things, or like I'll like use it to research. Like it's just like I can't imagine like being in an educational environment without AI. And I'm now one of the last generations to have a university experience without AI. Like my first 2 years, I didn't have AI. Everyone that entered college, that is entering college now, they'll never have an AI free college experience, so to speak. Even if you choose not to use it yourself, I mean, it's around you. A lot of courses are now including AI, like in the description. For example, I had a social media class where you were expected to use AI to generate content. Yes, it's just interesting how fast things change.
No, I agree on the sense that AI has taken over. I do see a lot of improvement though when it comes to how people actually are having a much easier time now that they can use AI, because yeah, you get automatic summaries of your lectures, you get tips on how to improve or what questions to I want to say train yourself on, how to train for your exams, for example. Like what are
Yeah.
questions to prepare on based on the material from this book. It's so much easier than, because back in my days it was like when it was AI free, you had to think of everything yourself to make your own cards and stuff
And
like that.
can you imagine being in that position again? Like having to think of everything yourself? Oh my gosh. Like that's why I'm so grateful. I think I probably like, because the brain is like a muscle, right? So like the more you
Okay.
have to think, the more you have to do, the more you know. Like I'm grateful I had to like rough it out. You know what I mean? Because like
Yeah.
looking back, I'm like, that's almost uncivilized. Like I was doing all this myself, like no help at all.
Yeah,
Like
like how dare you?
yeah, and that's the difference of a year. And that's why it's so important to listen to younger voices and have younger voices, be incorporated in discussions and how we kind of navigate things, because they're going to bring these types of opinions and perspectives that other people just won't be able to provide.
No, exactly. And now that we're on the topic, I'm also seeing like a lot when it comes to like rule making and stuff. It's still being done. Like I don't want to talk bad about millennials and boomers, but
Yeah.
they are making the rules right now for a work field that will not impact them much, because they were only going to be like maybe 10 years, 10, 15 years in the field, and then they're gone. And then
Hmm.
the next 100 years is going to be up to us. And
Hmm.
if we're not taking along into that conversation, um, I wonder about the future, because like also because you see right now, for example, the global AI divide. If we're going back to that topic, because I think we said at the beginning of this episode is one of the things we're going to talk about. I
Hmm.
do notice that if people don't talk with each other, you can see like a huge difference in like how every country is developing their AI.
Hmm.
Um, because for example, I can see like a huge difference between when it comes to like the US and Europe. Because in the US, I think they're trying to make a bill on AI. But there you have like a lot of big players in AI who can like talk with the politicians about, okay, maybe this is not a good idea.
Hmm.
Well, in Europe, you can see, okay, we already got the rules. They've already been implemented. They've already been passed through parliaments, and just like this is it. And then you can see
Yeah.
like the innovation go backwards, because people have to do all kinds of tricks just to get access to the newest models, because
Yeah.
AI
Yes.
companies are simply saying like, we would love to bring out this model, but there are so many restrictions in Europe. We're not going to do it because it's just going to cost us too much money and time to comply.
Yeah, that's true. Another thing that's interesting, so obviously I'm an American citizen. I'm going to be voting. Well, like we have an
Yeah.
election right around the corner. Trump's policies are so um radical. You know what I mean? Like we could have two completely different worlds in America come 2025 depending on the results of the election. So that's going to be really interesting to see how that affects the market.
I'm specifically on that part, like interested, but both on their tech policies, because that part I found very interesting because they're both surprisingly very liberal when it comes to like how they think the tech industry should be run.
Mm-hmm.
They're like all for innovation, which actually surprised me from both sides. They're like, okay, we should make some rules, but not too many rules.
Mm-hmm. Another thing though is that like there's two sides of it. I mean, I did a lot of like legal work with AI, both like within a company and outside of a company. So I feel like I can speak to it a little bit because there's a lot of protections in the EU that America doesn't have, and there's a lot of like crimes that are enabled by AI that are going around that are hard to nab down. Like I don't know if you've seen like the rise in deep fake porn, like AI generated images, and they'll be pornographic and they're used to like manipulate people, and they're like and social media as a conduit and all these different things. Like the laws around it I think are so much more stringent in the EU than they are in America. And also, oh my gosh, something that's fascinating. I'm going to follow up with you on this probably outside of the podcast, but I don't know if you've ever heard of like Task Force Argos, or Child's Play, but basically the US government was running a child porn website through an Australian server for 6 months. And they were able to do that because they were operating the server like through like Australian databases, and like they were able to circumnavigate like all these very complex laws on cybercrime to like run this website. And to this day, a lot of people don't know about it unless they have like an education in cybercrime or something of that degree. It's just really like the laws that we have on AI and how they vary from country to country. Like it's going to make a huge difference in how crimes are navigated, and you know, like how I don't know, just how things play out.
That I'm totally shocked that they were able to
Yeah,
run.
you can Google it. Task Force Argos. It's insane. Oh my gosh. Wait, hold on. No, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Like,
It's crazy. Like I could do I'll send you a podcast link on it. I could do like the whole story, but I don't think that's like where we're going here. But I mean, this stuff is serious, and it just shows like how important the topic is.
no, yeah, I would definitely say when it comes to these kind of things, I'm happy that there's so many laws in Europe. When it comes to like protecting, and that's also why I love the Netherlands, because we're very much on like protecting privacy.
Yeah, hugely.
But I do also, I don't want to like it's great, but at the same, like that's why I said it's so close to my heart, because I'm like very close to AI. I also work I work very close with people who are like directly making it.
Okay.
That you can just see that innovation is also stopped a little bit because of it, because you have to comply with so much. But when you tell me like these kind of things, then I'm like, okay, it might have a reason for it.
Yeah, no, like it's surreal. Like I don't know why more people, whenever I've told somebody about like Task Force Argos and how like the US government was responsible for maintaining a child porn website, nobody's ever like, everyone's like, what? And like this should be common knowledge. This should be common knowledge that governments are capable of doing this type of thing, but it's not. Anyway, information is power.
Yeah.
You know, and like learning is like one of the best things you can do, or researching and whatnot.
No, exactly. And also not to take everything from one source, like trying different kind of newsletters. That's also what I'm always doing with my podcast as well. I always grab different kind of newsletters together, so I can verify the information for myself, but also check like, okay, is this really real? And is it interesting?
Yeah, like is it valuable?
Yeah, is it valuable? But I do notice also that that's also why I wanted to bring this topic up in the when people voted for, hey, we want to talk about the global AI divide in the world. Because you do, like I said, you do see the difference between different countries, how far they are either ahead or behind.
Yeah. And then another thing is that AI and innovation in AI is so like crucial to, you know, helping people, and it can do amazing things. Like I had a lot of discussions recently with And I had discussions recently with an organization based out of Miami called Live Like Bella. And it's a really powerful story about their daughter who was diagnosed with cancer and, like lived her short life, very powerfully. Basically, like she was very young. She didn't understand what was happening to her. And she spent a lot of her life going around the hospital and helping other children with terminal illness, terminal or non-terminal, just helping children with illnesses and like trying to make them feel better. They're now using AI technology to help children process what's happening to them with regards to chemotherapy. So they're having children discuss with an AI and like build an AI to help others. Basically, when you're diagnosed and you're going to undergo chemotherapy, you discuss with it you have an AI tool talk you through the process, and the AI resembles a child, and it's prepared to handle like a child's brain, because parents aren't able to, there's only so much parents can do with that regard. Like research found that like the best way to help like the person who can communicate best with the child what's happening to them or etc. would be other children. So there's kind of AI that's able to do like what Bella was able to do for other children. Also, AI is being used to come up with like chemotherapy plans and come up with recovery plans. And I need to do more. Yeah, I need to do more research on it because I'm not as much on the technical side of it. I went to this conference in Miami about like emotional intelligence and like AI on like the subjective side of things, but AI is also used on the technical side of like cancer research to kind of like create recovery plans and accelerate healing. It's really interesting stuff. I mean, it's applicable to almost every industry. Innovation with AI.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that can be improved with the help of AI, but I do notice like a lot of people are lost when it comes to like, okay, where do I start? Like, what is the AI tool that I can use?
Oh, I would say Gemini. Is that a question, or are we just like?
No. I'm just saying this is like a general thing that I keep coming back, because that was also the reason why I started this whole podcast, because I got like at a certain point so many WhatsApps that I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna put it all in a podcast, listen to it for 7 minutes, and then you have the news of the week.
Yeah.
And also because like I talk to people like you about AI all the time, and I love the conversation. Like, we should hit record somewhere.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, and I think especially it can be because I've listened to podcasts on technology, and yeah, I don't know, it's a really good way to learn, and it's a really good way to like what's the word, like it's like a low threshold, or what is it called, low barrier, I don't know, it's just an easy way to acquire information.
No, but also like what you said, like I was also because like when you were talking about cancer research, I think we skipped a part for a podcast, but we'll get back to the other topic later. Because as you were talking about the cancer research, like what you talked to me about the chatbot that can help kids, I was also reading about the ChartWatch early warning system that's now being built in the St. Michael's Hospital in Toronto.
Oh.
And based on those statistics, they were able to like decrease unexpected deaths among patients by 26%.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, wait, what? you can lower unexpected deaths by having AI like give like a like I said, a warning sign that, hey, you should maybe check up on this patient.
That's surreal. You want to know something I saw recently? There's AI being used. So I used to work in gun violence prevention in the U.S. And I would be in Congress, discussing with like people, like, how do we stop this? Like, what can we do, etc. And there's AI and like technology being used to actually, and everyone knows that school shootings are an American problem, not just an American problem, like a huge problem.
Yeah,
and like
there have been a few instances in the Netherlands as well where this has.
I've seen that. So I was living in the Netherlands the past year. I think while I was living there, there was a school shooting in Rotterdam.
Yeah, that might be.
Yeah. No, it's really severe, but thankfully nowhere near as severe as the US. But just to say that there's a lot of different solutions now that relate to technology. There's different companies. For example, there's a company that uses AI to detect the sounds of bullets and then send out an alert. There's AI that like trails. Oh my gosh, this is a whole. Oh my! If I start talking about this, I'll never stop. But the application of AI to CCTV, there's one side of it, there's a company that's like pioneering like CCTV, I don't know the word, like trailing or whatever. And basically, if they see like a gun or a knife in the CCTV like footage, they'll send out like a warning alert so they can catch like assailants faster and prevent like mass deaths.
Wait, they are able to see something as small as like a gun or a knife on
Yeah, wait, hold on. Let me pull
yeah,
this up actually. I have it in my notes. So I'm gonna pull that up right now.
yeah. Because I do know in the Netherlands that they're, for example, checking these kind of things out in also, yeah, because you have so many cameras around here.
So, oh my gosh, the Netherlands is a surveillance country. I wanted to write, no, I'm serious. I wanted to write this piece called Look Up so I was living in Utrecht, right? If you just
Mhm.
look up, you can see these massive, like, cameras the size of my forearm, and they're black and they're pointed towards like across an entire street. And they're government cameras. Those are not like from stores, at least to my understanding. And just I think it's a good practice in general to like look up and see where the cameras are, because if you're in a major city, I'd say you're almost always being recorded. Anyway, so now I have my notes up. So just these are the two things that I was mentioning. Amber Box gunshot detection. Amber Box
Yeah.
automates the emergency process to significantly reduce response time and remove human error. And then Ambient AI, a company transforming physical security with computer vision intelligence.
Okay. Wait, I'm
Yeah,
definitely going to look them up now in a bit. Otherwise, I'll look them up afterwards. Um, but I think that's pretty cool that they can, like you said, detect something as small as a bullet. Because that's pretty small when you think about it.
yeah. Wait, hold on. I'm looking at it now. Yeah, person Brent. I wish there was like what's it? You know those podcasts where like it's two people sitting in a room and there's like you could see their faces. I
Uh
wish
huh.
we had that because I could show you or I could show the audience this. Yeah, it's if somebody like has a firearm, it detects it and then it alerts it. I, I need somebody to explain to me like how this stuff works.
Well, I think that can maybe be something for our next episode if we find someone who
Yeah,
can
no,
really to
genuinely.
explain to
Or
us.
you know what? You know what? Maybe the person will be me. I'm gonna take this on. I'll figure out how it works and then I can discuss it next week.
Oh, yeah, awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
look.
maybe we
And
can do
so
like next time we're like a video recording.
yeah.
Like,
Wait,
show
listen.
it like here, look.
Yeah, no, listen to this. Mining video surveillance feeds to focus on legit incident indicators, and it's something like as small and as like innocuous as like I don't know, like a couple of pixels, and it's like a black like line, and they're able to interpret that as a gun. Continuous security updates on what's happening in real time. And I mean, like, this is brilliant. I mean, especially given the scale of like gun violence and shootings, specifically school shootings in America, because we've had this theme since the beginning of the podcast of like children and how to protect children and how AI affects children. So this is
You know,
something that would like really help defend kids in America. But it's also like the this AI that's 24/7 constant surveillance. If you give that to a government, that's dystopian.
I do see an episode of Black Mirror appearing here in
Yeah.
my
I
my.
actually I never watched Black Mirror. I think I need to.
Oh my god, you should really watch it. Not to make you all doom and gloom, but just in general, it can give you like an idea of like, oh, this is where technology could also go. But also, that's why I always also like to
Yeah.
like read positive things about AI. That's also why this podcast I really like to talk about. Okay,
Uh-huh.
but also positive things like AI is being used to help kids who got cancer.
Yeah. Wait,
Might
wait,
be
wait. Hold on. So this is sorry to cut you off, but here's another section
one.
on ambient AI. So here's what it can detect: safety, falls, and medical issues. And then it activates this resolution that emergency services are dispatched immediately. High impact alarm reduction. Officers respond to AI verified alerts, not false alarms. Medium impact perimeter breach. Resolution apprehended by local police before damage is done. And then high impact weapon detection. Resolution life threatening situation altered. That's interesting. That's really interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's.
I'm gonna send all this to you, including Task Force Argus. You have to read about that. That changed my perspective, like, on the world. To be honest, after that, I was like, cybercrime is what I'm meant to do. It's where I need to be.
Yeah, I can totally understand that now.
Yeah,
like how you ended up. It was gonna be my question, like later off recording, like how did you end up in cybercrime? But now you told me.
Yeah, and then also I think cybercrime is kind of just because the thing is, I always worked in social justice since I was 14, in different aspects. Like, I'm Iraqi American, and my Iraqi family live in the Netherlands, and there was a Muslim ban in America, so I would talk to legislators about that. And then I was involved in gun violence prevention. Have you ever heard of Stoneman Douglas?
No, I have not. Tell me more.
That's another that's another link I'll have to send you. But I was involved in gun violence prevention for a while, and then I did other sorts of things, and then I just kind of arrived at, like, what's another huge problem that I'm seeing that's only going to get worse, and that was cybercrime. So here I am. And then also I just think that, like, technology is kind of one of, like, if you see problems in the world, technology can be applied as a solution to them. Like, it's kind of like this ubiquitous thing that can improve facets of society.
Yeah, and it can also it can be implemented very quickly once you know, like, okay, what you need. And now with AI, I can even give you suggestions like what kind of thing, like how what you need to build a database center. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just saying something really weird, but
you know, Ireland is the EU capital for data centers. It's like you know how people will go into trade school and, like, be like I don't know, like trade school to do welding or something like that.
I knew.
In Ireland, there's like a trade school to just work in data centers.
I did not know that. Like when I think of Ireland, I'm thinking of pubs.
Yeah, that's so real.
Honest.
No, but that's that's a huge facet of Irish culture. I've been talking to my friends because I haven't lived in Ireland for like a year and a while, and I've been between like Miami and the Netherlands mainly. I forgot how deeply entrenched alcohol is to Irish culture. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, from what I can remember, definitely.
You've been to Ireland?
Well, yeah, I've been to Dublin. Very cheesy. I've been to Dublin. But like when I went to the pub, like everybody is drinking, but it's not like drinking that people are like getting weird, but it's people are happy. And it's fun, and there's music, and there's like the streets come alive at night.
Thank you. This is a very optimistic take of Ireland's alcohol usage.
Yeah.
I like that. That's like, you know what? There's Ireland's like huge on tourism. They're probably gonna like take a sound bite of that and like put it in a commercial, something like that, or repost this podcast maybe.
Fleur Prince approves.
Fleur Prince approves. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that would be so funny.
Maybe they can sponsor us. Maybe the Irish government can sponsor this podcast.
Yeah. This is also what I love about like talking to you about now, like our conversation in AI, because I think we've now been recording for about like 39 minutes. But because we're like both from like totally different worlds, so also like from different sides of the ponds, kind of.
Yeah.
But we've both been in different industries in AI. There's so much to talk about.
Yeah, seriously. And next time I talk about it, I'll be equipped with some more technical knowledge.
I think it's already a lot of knowledge. Like, I've already learned so much. But that's also, I think, like, also when it comes, because I do see the global divide is like getting bigger because people are not talking to each other, are pretty much like hoarding their tech. And I'm like I understand it from a business perspective, but I'm also like, we as humanity itself, we want to move forward, and we're only going to be able to do that if we talk to each other. like what's
Yeah.
going on in
No,
different
absolutely.
countries.
Although was it Google? I don't even know. Just a lot of like AI is open source. So you can like read the code and then like replicate it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's something we should keep doing. I think
Yeah.
even who was it? Oh yeah, I don't know if you also read about this, but United Nations is also like calling for a global AI fund. I'm not sure if they already,
Really? I did not see that. I'm literally Googling that right now.
because the whole idea is for them is that they are also now seeing slowly like the impact of AI is going to have on society.
And then
But a lot of wealthy nations they have accesses because simply we have the money for it. But those countries in lesser developed areas are still have to catch up. And the only way for them to catch up to it is if they can also invest money. So I think that's also why the UN called for that there should be a global AI fund where lesser developed areas can take money from so they can invest in their own tech sector. I mean, like so that they can catch up too and make sure that their society as well is on the same level and has the same advantages.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I remember I was having discussions. So I was working in law in Ireland, and I also worked like vaguely enough in law in the Netherlands. And before that, I was working in law. I was working in criminal defense. That was really fun in Miami. I was in this criminal defense firm in Miami, and I would use AI for everything, literally everything, and not just like ChatGPT. I had access to like these premier, like specific AI models just designed to make my life easier, designed to make law easier. And when I came to Europe, I didn't have access to any of that. And I was appalled. I was appalled. No, because I thought, you expect me to go through all of this manually? Like, what is the sense in that? Where's the commercial awareness? Like, where is the, like, do you not see that? Like I'm a human with a brain. This isn't an efficient use of my time. My job is to do like the complex, like, the impact weighing. You think I like, what am I like a, I don't know. I was appalled. That's another reason I like ended up kind of like at this very specific point in the sector, because I realized that Europe doesn't have anywhere near the same access to tools and resources that America does. And I was just like, what an archaic notion that like I live in America. When I'm living in America, I have access to all these tools and resources that I have no ability to access while in Europe. Why is that? Like, how did that originate? Actually, and then I'll have to call off the podcast pretty soon, but I think I can kind of leave on this thought. And I don't know if like you've heard of this premise before, but somebody had said to me once, the reason that Europe has such a different perspective on like data and AI and technical innovation, the reason why it has such a different perspective, it all comes back to the Holocaust. And in the Holocaust, you know, like kind of the categorization and the like accumulation of data on Jewish people, it was used to promote genocide. It was used to enable genocide, like kind of tracking where people were, their addresses, facts about them, like demographic info. It was all used towards like this broader aim of eradication. And from that comes a general sentiment in the EU that categorization and like mass accumulation of data, data that you don't necessarily need, is profoundly wrong. And that sort of sentiment does not exist in the slightest in America. And, you know, I think that's true. I think that even if it's not, you know, like a direct reason, it's a very powerful metaphor that can help us to understand why innovation is kind of like restricted in the EU and why it matters that this data is collected on people, that my address is available, that my demographic info is available, that my sexuality, that my religion, that like personal information that, you know, can put me in a box or distinguish me from other people, why that's important, why that's valuable, why that ought to be protected, and why the protection of that information is more important than innovation. I think it's a pretty good metaphor to kind of, you know, see things
Yeah,
through.
to think about. Yeah, I think it also has to do with the fact, like, yeah, what you said. Well, one thing I didn't know that part, so that's good to take into account. I'm definitely gonna fact check this, because what I know from as a European is that I know there's a lot of sense, like what you said, we want to know like where our data goes. Like, why do you need to know what I ate at 3 o'clock at Dunkin' Donuts?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love Dunkin' Donuts. You shouldn't have said that. I love Dunkin' Donuts. You know, I have Dunkin' Donuts merch. I have 2 Dunkin' Donuts mugs. And my sister, this is a family thing. My sister has a Dunkin' Donuts. She has 2 Dunkin' Donuts shirts and a hat.
That is amazing. I want those too.
Yeah, and I mean, if only Dunkin' Donuts knew, they'd probably advertise to me harder, and I'd cave. I'd go. I'd spend the money. I'd put my card down.
Same. I'd be like, here, take it all. Give me the shirt.
Take it all.
Take it all. This is our Gen Z thing coming up again.
Yeah, literally.
No, that's why I said, like, recap on this also for me is that I can see like there's a two-edged sword to when it comes to innovation, when it comes to like rule-based, like you said, when it comes to cybercrime, like it's good to have rules because it, like we said, it protects children, for example, in ways because AI is changing so fastly, but it also can hinder us because also, like you said, you have access to tools when you're in the US. When you're here in Europe, you're like, you have to do it manually because we have this.
And why would I do that?
Yeah.
Why would I do that? That is not. Yeah, I'm not about that.
So I think also I want to say also to listeners who have listened to us rabble this whole time, to think about it as well. Like, innovation can be a double-edged sword. To think about, okay, also when it comes to, if people here are also who are making the rules, I'm just throwing it out there, to make sure that Gen Z is involved when it comes to decision making, because I think we can bring a lot into it. Like, Grain is 20 years old. She is already AI market lead. She definitely knows what she's talking about, because I've just learned so much.
To an extent. But that's the fun thing about it as well. That's why I love like working in this industry so much, and why I want to do it for the rest of my life, is that it's a constantly evolving challenge. And you don't solve challenges alone. You do solve them by, discussing with people and discussing at different hierarchies. So.
Yeah, and also coming together and talk about, okay, what's going on your side of the pond and what's going on my side of the pond, because you can learn so much or learn what I don't have access to.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But yeah, there's so much to learn, and I think we should definitely maybe do this again because I really love doing this.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this was so fun.
Yeah.
And then maybe, and I've said this like, this is probably gonna be my third time being like, and this is my final note. But as my final note, I have a big reveal. My name is actually pronounced Grania.
Oh my god! Why did you not say it?
Yeah.
Grania. Oh my god.
I know. This is no, but look, it's a beautiful end to the first episode.
Yeah, I agree. So
I know. It's a beautiful end to the first episode because it just shows how much better and more like, it's exciting. The introduction to our next one, my name will be pronounced normally. So it's something to look forward to.
Yes.
For the listeners.
Yeah, for the listeners. I totally agree. Okay, so we're going to cut it off here today. Again, everybody, thank you for listening to AI Insights, the bonus content episode. Like, subscribe, and if you want to hear more, definitely repost. And talk to you next time. So thank you again for coming on the show.